SCHD continues to trade relatively weakly since the start of the year and even recently hitting a year-to-date low. However, many long-term dividend growth investors, including myself, see a once-in-a-long-time buying opportunity with the current prices SCHD has been trading at. And on top of that, a chance to lock in around a 3.8% starting dividend yield on the king of all dividend growth ETFs. Now you're going to want to stick around until the end of this video to find out why I think, in my personal opinion, that SCHD can move up quickly from here, and why this might be one of our last buying opportunities we could see for a while. We're going to go through all this and more right after you please drop a like in this video and subscribe if you love dividend investing and love the SCHD ETF. Now to back up for a second, the SCHD is an ETF that tracks the performance of the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. And the index consists of 100 high-quality US companies that have a history of not only consistent dividend payments, but also the tendency to raise their dividends over the long term. Now, SCHD's portfolio is made up of a variety of different stocks from different industries and sectors. Now, the stocks are chosen based on factors such as dividend yield, dividend growth, and financial stability. And as one would expect from this dividend ETF, SCHD has a higher exposure to more income-oriented industries, things like financials, industrials, consumer defensive, and others. Now, what sets SCHD apart from other boring index funds is its track record of shareholder returns over time. Now, this includes an outperformance over the past 1, 3, 5, and 10-year timeframes. And by now you know that we've talked at length in previous videos on how SCHD has outperformed the S&P 500 on multiple timeframes, which is obviously extremely impressive. Now, in addition to SCHD's performance, SCHD earns an A+ dividend grade since its portfolio includes a number of strong dividend climbers. And despite many economic ups and downs during the time period that SCHD has been a fund, this has led to a 13.7% dividend compound annual growth rate over the past 5 years, with a dividend compound annual growth rate rising to 14.1% in the most recent 3. And although no one can tell the future, no one knows exactly how SCHD is going to do in the future. But one thing's for certain, SCHD ETF is made up of many moat-worthy businesses, and this leads me to think that, for the most part, the companies in SCHD's portfolio have a good chance of survival long into the future. But what is the main thing that makes SCHD so attractive to dividend growth investors like myself, and especially attractive during moments where SCHD's price is lower? Well, like we alluded to earlier, it's of course the starting dividend yield and the potential dividend growth that we can see in the future. Now, dividend growth investing involves buying stocks or ETFs that not only pay dividends, but consistently increase their dividends over time. So right now, SCHD's starting dividend yield, like I said earlier, is right around 3.7, 3.8%, which is a relatively high starting dividend yield, especially for an ETF that does have a strong history of increasing the dividend payouts almost every single quarter. So speaking about SCHD's dividend growth rate and how the US dividend equity ETF has performed over the past various years, you can see right here that SCHD has a dividend growth rate over 10 years of 11.35%, a dividend growth rate 5-year time frame 12.24%, and a dividend growth rate on the 3-year time frame 14.05%. Now, as an SCHD shareholder, I'm not necessarily going to bank on thinking that SCHD is going to grow their dividend by more than 10 or even 14% every single year. But just going off of SCHD's track record, looking back into history, there was a time not all that long ago that SCHD was paying just over 12 cents per share per year. And a year after that, SCHD actually paid out 81 cents per share per year. By 2020, SCHD was paying out over $2.02 per share per year. Then taking things into modern day, 2023, SCHD is supposed to pay out somewhere around $2.81 by the end of this year in total. Now, if we were to go off of this predictive model and to see how much each share of SCHD could pay out as far as dividends go on a future yearly basis, by 2024, if things were to stay relatively the same, and if SCHD was to grow their dividend at just a 10.03% rate, which is assuming the dividend growth is going to be even less than it's done in the past, SCHD could pay $3.10 per share for the whole year of 2024. By 2025, we could see $3.41 per share. By 2026, $3.75. So backing up a second for investors that are currently buying into this fund that are very excited about the potential of around $2.60 up to maybe $2.81 in paid out dividends for the current year that we're in right now. These investors have to realize that just in a few years from now, it is likely that SCHD could pay somewhere around the realm of $3.75 just around 3 or 4 years from now. Around 5 years from now, SCHD could pay out $4.13 per share. 6 years from now, $4.55. 7 years from now, around $5 per share. So in theory, for every share of SCHD we purchase today, we could be getting paid almost double the dividends in just around 5, 6, 7 years. And if we zoom out all the way, again, this is just a predictive model. So again, take it with a grain of salt. But by 2033, if SCHD stays on the 10.03% annual dividend growth rate per year, we could see a $7.33 dividend paid for each share of SCHD we currently own. So right now, if SCHD is currently paying around $2.81 per share, and you own 100 shares of SCHD, that means you're going to receive around $281 per year in dividends, which isn't all that bad. And like we said earlier, this gives us around a 3.8% starting dividend yield. But what if you just held onto those 100 shares? Just imagine, you held onto those same 100 shares, and you held them for just 10 years, which again, 10 years is not all that long. In theory, those same 100 shares that used to pay you $281 are now paying you $733 per year. So the fact that SCHD has recently hit a year-to-date low and now yielding around a 3.8% with a basket of stocks that I don't think are going anywhere anytime soon, and the fact that cheap money has vanished in an atmosphere where rates have been sharply increased, and well, a Fed pivots or rates dropping could happen soon. It's really hard to know what's going to happen next in the future. All these reasons and more make a good case that SCHD could have some massive upside potential here. And for the long-term dividend growth investors out there, the dividend growth possibilities make it even more appealing, knowing that your investment is likely going to pay you more and more and more the longer you hold on to it. But I want to hear what you guys think down below. Do you think the way that SCHD has been currently trading means that there's more pain ahead? Or do you think there's some massive upside potential once the market finally shifts? Also, let me know what you think about the future dividend growth potential. I think SCHD could easily grow at a 7 to 15% year after year as far as dividends go, long into the future. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to please drop a like in this video and subscribe for more. Thanks as always for stopping by, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.